Here in La Rochelle, after an exhausting schedule yesterday, the student teams are back in their boats this morning and the fourth day of the Yachting World Championship is about to begin. With the boats evenly spread along the line, the first start of the day was given around 11 o'clock. Admittedly, an excellent start for most of the teams competing here in France. The French defenders of the world title were on leeward, along with the Swiss, as well as another French team. The Irish, on the other hand, were on windward. Then tacked in the middle of the upwind, below the defenders. It was the start of a great performance from them. Both teams had now built an early lead from the rest of the fleet, yet remained really close to each other as they were reaching the weather mark. Then, in the short reach that followed, they had the time to prepare their spinnaker poles and the hoist. Team USA was in third place, but still less than a boat length ahead of the second French team, and thus too close for comfort. Now, with the spinnakers hoisted, the fleet proceeded to sail downwind, helped by a breeze of 10 knots. The Irish were still attempting to extend their lead from the French. Last year's champions, however, did not intend to surrender precious meters without a fight. At the same time, the team from the United States was gradually closing the gap between them and the French. When the Irish finally rounded the bottom mark, they were still just a boat length ahead of the French. Then the two teams sailed on port while trying to keep clear from the rest of the fleet that was still sailing downwind. As soon as they cleared, both boats tacked and headed to the left side of the course. Team USA, however, decided to keep on the right side of the race course, and they were soon reaping the benefits of this decision. Finding themselves in first place, the U.S. sailors were not about to let the top spot slip away from them. But the Irish were prepared to fight for a return to the first place. The Italians were doing great on the other hand, since they managed to steal the third place from the French team. Last year's champions were now in fourth place. The Irish and American teams were battling it out. The Irish boat keeping on the right side of the course this time and trying to extract similar rewards as the Americans did in the upwind. In the end, the position of the U.S. sailors was not threatened. In fact, they rounded the mark relatively undisturbed and then headed for that bullet. The Irish were rewarded with a consistent performance with a second place, something that helped them extend their lead from the Canadians in the overall results. The second and last race for today was to be a coastal race, where the boats would be sailing upwind, moving past Fort Boyard in the process. This stunning, nearly 200-year-old fort, which was later used as a military prison, is a very unique structure, stranded in the middle of the sea. After this long upwind, the fleet hoisted their spinnakers and headed to North Lodge before again sailing back to La Rochelle for the finish. This time, victory belonged to the British team. Following a fourth place in this race, the Irish managed to retain their overall lead and now enjoyed a safe lead from the Canadians, still in second place. The Italians completed the day's surprise upset by knocking the French off the third place. But the next 2 days will be crucial, since the weather forecast anticipates some really bad conditions. Stay tuned.